Today, I want to talk about a topic that is dear to my heart, which is confidence and imposter syndrome, and more specifically, how to work to increase your confidence and crush imposter syndrome so you're able to grow your business, your life, your career, whatever it is that you're working on. And the reason I'm also talking about this is because 99% of the people that I coach or prospects that I speak to we'll talk about this. And I was at the start genuinely really surprised that a lot of really capable human beings actually felt this way inside. And it almost felt like they were really struggling and pretending to actually be the person that reached the goals that they have. Now, I think we have a crisis of confidence. We definitely do, because while we're focusing on AI and all of these external things and health, and there's all of these movements that are happening in the world right now to make us better human beings, there's not a lot of people truly addressing that confidence piece, which is the foundation cornerstone of everything that makes us successful humans. Now, if you are right now suffering from a little bit of low confidence, a lot of low confidence or insecurity, and imposter syndrome, maybe sometimes, maybe all the time. I want you to know, first of all, that that's perfectly normal. It came in with our features as human beings. It's just something that kind of comes with us. And everybody, or almost everybody, experiences from time to time. So you are definitely not alone. Because sometimes we feel when we're suffering from this, we're like, oh, I'm the only one. Everybody seems so successful on the outside. And I am the only one who's suffering from this right now. But I can tell you, because I work with people in a safe, confidential setting, that they're able to tell me the truth about how they're feeling and how they're doing. And this will very often come up. And I was so surprised at the start because I saw people from the outside, right? I saw people who would eventually become my clients or just generally people that I speak to. And they seemed so put together. And I thought they were awesome people already. I'm like, oh my goodness, this person is absolutely awesome. I wish I had their drive sometimes, or I wish more people were like them. I wish more people talked like them. I wish more people were authentic or showed up in a way that is so effective. I just generally thought they were kick-ass people. And I was so surprised to find out that actually deep down inside, they were not feeling that way. So there was such a huge disconnect between how I saw them, how the world actually sees them, and how they see themselves inside. And the other reason why I like to talk about this is because I was deeply insecure. Growing up, I was deeply insecure. I had depression and had anxiety for the longest time. And the longest time, I'm talking about years and years. And it just felt like it was something that I would have to deal with for the absolute rest of my life. And actually, I discovered that that is not true. There was a version of me that is more confident, and I just needed to let her out. But most people don't know how to do this because they're really scared that if they're vulnerable, if they look at themselves as they are, that they will fail or that other people will judge them or that other people will reject them. But today I'm going to teach you my secret for almost instant confidence. And I'm not making this claim lightheartedly. I don't like to make those like claims, but with a lot of mindset work, there's a lot of things that work quite fast. And it's this shift in mentality between where confidence comes from. So that wasn't very eloquent, but what I'm trying to say is that we got confidence all wrong. We think that confidence is built from the outside in. So we think if somebody compliments us, if our boss says that we're really great, if we get a good score in our work, if our clients then tell us how great we are, or people look at us and compliment us on our appearance or our hair or whatever it is, that then we can be confident. Now I can give myself permission to be confident. And the problem with that is that you cannot control other people. So you cannot control other people. And sometimes that is really incredibly subjective. I can be the greatest, smartest, more successful person in the world. and somebody outside, because they're wearing their own glasses, I often talk about the paradigm of the world. They're seeing the world in a certain way. They will not be able to see that. And it's like attractiveness, for example, too. I think attractiveness is very subjective. It comes with we are all attracted to different people, and thank God, but we cannot control that. So we are anchoring our confidence, which is the fuel that moves us forward, into something outside of ourselves that we cannot control. And I am not saying that we shouldn't feel good when somebody compliments us. When I get a compliment, I accept it because now I am confident. So I say, yes, thank you. Your hair looks really great today. Thank you so much. I don't start going like, oh, I just did this thing or whatever. No, I fully accept that because that's who I am right now. That's the version of me. But whether or not people compliment me or not, I feel beautiful and I feel confident. And I know that it's up to me to bring myself into that place of confidence. And we have gotten it all wrong. We think we do really well, we are really great. People compliment us, and the outside world tells us that we're great, and then we can be confident. So now we can be confident. But the truth is, we need to start from being confident and learning how to build that confidence within ourselves. And yes, that can absolutely be learned. We can start telling another story. If I was able to change after almost 40 years, you're going to be able to change as well, no matter how long you felt that you're not as confident as you want to be. We need to teach ourselves how to anchor our confidence in that. And what happens at that point is that when you have true inner authentic confidence, you really trust yourself and your abilities, and you know that if something happens, you're going to be able to handle it. You stop trying to control everybody's opinions of you, or listening to everybody's opinions. Something paradoxical starts to happen. Then people start seeing you as incredibly confident, and without you fishing for the compliments or actually expecting that, you are going to see that people are going to start reacting to you differently. When you change, people change. This has happened to me countless times. If I have an issue with someone and I show up in a different energy, in a different version of myself, that person will inevitably start seeing me and treating me differently. That happens all the time. That's normal neuroscience. Is human beings. People will respond differently. So, what would it be like if you could show up with even 10% more confidence today? And what if you could at least contemplate the possibility that you can be more confident, that there's a more confident version of yourself, and that if you build it from the inside, if that one is your anchor and it doesn't depend or move in and out depending on what's going on outside, if you think about the possibility that then you could become more confident, even a little bit more confident, and that will start affecting the results around you. And much more than that, it will give you peace of mind because you will stop struggling and trying to convince people of how great you are, and actually start showing up with your confidence. I can talk about this topic for hours because I am still very surprised about people that I really truly admire with all my heart, that have done things in life that for me seem absolutely incredible. I'm going to give you a very tangible example of somebody that I know. Obviously, I'm not going to mention them. It's somebody who's really close to me. And I think that person is absolutely kick ass. That's how I would describe them. She is a woman who is totally kick ass. She's done things that I can never even picture myself doing right now. She bought a house, and completely an older house, and completely learned how to remodel and rebuild a house because it was a really old house. And she actually had to rip off the foundations and learn how to rebuild a house. I mean, wow. Like when I think about that, my mind is blown. It's a person that always shows up with confidence. She is absolutely gorgeous physically as well, and shows up with confidence, well traveled, well articulated, and especially super resilient and strong. Like I always seen this person as like the face of like resilience, poise, and strength. And I was having a conversation with them yesterday, and I discovered how they felt about themselves. And I was honestly very surprised about the disconnect between how I saw them and how they saw themselves. And that's really what prompted me to make this video because honestly, I've been procrastinating on it a little. I've been wanting to do this for a long, long time. Because I think a lot of people could benefit from a different perspective on confidence and from maybe a different point of view on how to achieve it. And I hadn't done it. And then yesterday, I just thought this is something that I think a lot of people need to hear because it is just so hard to build confidence on the opinions of others and our achievements because sometimes things take a little bit of time to do. Anything worthwhile might take a little bit of time. So if you're waiting until you have the great multi-million pound or dollar business to be success to be confident, then you might be waiting for a long time. And while you're in that process, you're going to be grinding and it's not going to feel really good. Or if you're waiting until you get the great job to feel really confident about yourself, then you may be waiting for a little bit and the process of finding a job might not be really good for you. So this can be applied to anything in life. So it's the order of things. Confidence comes first, and then the results and the action and the compliment and all of those signals from the outside world come second. So, how can you start building your inner confidence today? And I can give you a couple of tips. One of them is write a list of everything you have absolutely accomplished in your life. This is called my Yay Me list. I tell all of my clients about it. I don't know where the Yay Me terminology came from. It must have been something I read years ago, but keep it with you. If somebody gives you a well, I know this one goes a bit counterintuitive, but I do tell people this. When a client sends me a testimonial and they say, I got out of that session feeling really energized, or my business has doubled because of the work, partly because of the work that we've done together. Um, that type of thing, I put it on a folder, right? And when I do something that I'm really proud of, this is special. When like, for example, this masterclass, or this video, I've been completely procrastinating about doing this video. I do eventually want to do a masterclass about it, but that has to be a little bit more structured. To put that on my list and say, look, you procrastinated for such a long time, but congratulations, girl, because you're really strong and you were able to do this and you did it fairly fast you got over all of your blockers, which were really just like procrastination blockers. Like really, there was nothing blocking me from doing it, but now I understood the importance of doing it. So I'm going to put that on my list. If I've ever done anything really hard, I moved countries 6 times in my life. Anybody who has moved knows how hard it is to do that, to start brand new in a new city when you don't know anybody. And I've done that. I was CMO before the age of 40. I was CMO 4 times, chief marketing officer 4 times. I built brands. One of those sold for 8 or 9 figures to Accenture. I mean, I've done great things in my life, but I used to discount them all the time because nothing was good enough for the people outside of me, right? So if I wasn't getting the things I wanted or people were not saying things, then I would say, oh, well, that was not worthwhile. But when I started making that list, honestly, I just thought this person is awesome. And that's how I started building my confidence. And, some people say, oh, it'll take a long time. It doesn't need to take a long time. You need to have a strong belief that this is possible for you. That's the mindset work. And if you believe this is possible and it's possible for you, you will get your confidence into a bit of a higher level. And one of the last things that I want to also advise is something that I do with people quite often. I have an objective scale. Well, it's an objective subjective scale because it's how the person feels, but it's different for everybody. But I tell them, well, when we start working together, for example, on a scale from 0 to 10, how confident do you feel in yourself that you're going to be able to grow your business, right? So 0 is like, oh my God, I don't think this will ever happen. To 10 is like, I feel super confident and I'm super ready and I can't even wait. And there's no doubt in my mind. And then they put themselves somewhere in that scale. And usually when we start working together, they're between a 4 and a 6. And we work on getting people from an 8 to a 10. I mean, if you are in that scale from an 8 to a 10, because confidence is not fixed, some days you'll feel a little more confident, some days you feel a little bit less confident, then you're already winning, right? And you can maintain yourself at that level. Once you start building that belief system around confidence and you start anchoring that true confidence in yourself, then you'll be able to show up that way and people will start seeing it. So the person this is for already knows, but I hope you found this useful. I also found that, and I also hope that anybody who watches this video found this idea useful. We don't have to have an epidemic of low self-confidence or imposter syndrome. We can definitely change that. I am living proof and I've seen lots of people do it. I will see you on the next video.